Bienvenido a las últimas semanas del semestre. I want to go over with you your final project as well as some hard deadlines. There are no extensions past this point. I have to have this your work by these deadlines. So for the content that is in this week and a little bit into next week, it's due by Tuesday, the 18th, which is our last Tuesday of the semester. Um, you do have a little wiggle room after that because I do want you to have completed and gone through the content to learn to help you do the best with the project. So anything other than the project from units 1 through 3, I will accept no later than 3 o'clock on Wednesday the 19th. That is it. If you still need to learn the context, you want to practice with it, if you submit anything past 3 o'clock, you learn from it, but you don't get credit for it in that regard. Okay, so just be fully aware of that, please. Now, the final project, I will accept up until 3 o'clock on Thursday, the 20th, which is the last day. All right, no extensions past that. So what do we have going on this week? So for this, make sure that you are working on any missing work. You want to be organizing your information for your travel, or the Hispanohablante, el país. So the project you've been working on, start organizing that. There is going to be some present perfect again to review to see how that could be applied to your project. Looking at, did you want to use this voice somewhere, and did you do it incorrectly? It's a very commonly misused but very commonly used form. Then there's also the when do we use the preterite, the imperfect. This is an assignment, but it's also meant to help you to review your work. Did you use it correctly in your project? To also help you improve your work, we're going to do a discussion. Proyecto preliminar means a rough draft or your first draft of your project. I'm going to share a portion of what you've written with your colleagues or with your classmates, and we're going to do some peer editing. And I give you some instruction that we will go over in just a second, so make sure you're engaged in that. Ideally, you've started on Thursday. That does not mean your project is done. It means you have part of it done at least. And so you're still working on it in the background, but you've put some into that discussion hopefully by Thursday so that you're also engaged and looking at what others are doing. And then you're making your final corrections on Monday or Tuesday so that you can have it submitted by Tuesday. That is your goal. All right. So what does this stuff kind of look like? Well, let's just go here to El Proyecto. I do want you to use the next, but it takes a while for it to work through my computer right now as I'm recording. So in here, this is where we're going to be doing the discussion for the Proyecto Preliminar. Remember that you are writing as you are going to have recording as well, but you're focusing in on the chosen questions that made sense for you with your project. So in this discusión de Proyecto Preliminar, you're going to have 3 parts to your responses. So make sure that you post your section, your portion of it. Looks like we already have one student who has, and we click in. Ideally, you have the work right there rather than clicking out to the full thing. So in order to access that, once you've posted yours, make sure you refresh your page or click next and then click back or previous so that you can get back and see what others have done. I want you to review at least 2 others. Ideally, one of those does not have any review comments to them yet. So make sure that we're making sure everybody's getting some feedback. In there, what's one question you have that, and I want you to ask them a question in Spanish, ideally, but if you need to go into English, then go ahead and do that. 2, what are positive comments? What are some things that were interesting to you? Did you like? Add some detail to that. This should be in Spanish, this portion. This should be done by you in Spanish. And then also 3 suggestions on how they can improve. The more detailed you can get, the better. Kind of, it looks like the misuse of, it looks, of a grammar or a conjugation can be helpful. Word ordering can be helpful. I give you also some resources. They talk about common grammatical errors or common writing errors in English, but they translate perfectly well to Spanish. They're also common errors that we would make in Spanish. So please use that as well. Now, as you're looking at these things and commenting on other people's work, apply that to your work as well. What can I do? Did I also add something that was interesting? Do I have an interesting tidbit in there? I saw that somebody else, they switched from, they started in the past tense, but then switched to the present tense, but it's still talking about the past. Did I do the same thing? Really common error. And it's oftentimes easier to find in somebody else's work than our own. But that's why we're looking at other people's work with the lens, the thought of, let me double check mine. Okay. So you'll be working on this discussion for multiple days, as I discussed earlier. Then there are I'm going to actually skip ahead. Let me get to this, looking at review. I'm just going to get to the resources that you should have been, that you can be organizing your work into. Here we are. So please, so you're going to be presenting this out or to me, like organizing afterwards, have some images that are related to the content, to what you're writing and what you're saying. Some of it must be spoken. So written as well as spoken needs to be submitted, all right, in there. And most of these options here allow for that. So do this and you'll be submitting it on the next page, which also has the rubric. The rubric was down below as well, linked for you. It's similar to what you have seen throughout the course. For other items, make sure you phrases, simple questions. You have been provided with a transitions and conectores. I can't think of the word in English or the phrase in English, but ways to help your work to be smoother. Think about when you worked with the artist, talking about the artist, what were some of the things that you added in there to improve your writing? Apply that here as well. All right. Let me know if you have any questions. Y hasta luego.